Now let's talk about multiplication in exponents. Now some things you may not realize is that previously you may have seen the x used for multiplication. Well, now we're going to use a dot. Or if you see variables with nothing in between them, that also means multiplication, and so do the parentheses. So normally or back in the day, you may have seen this written as 2 times 3. Well, now we're going to use either this, or we could use this, or we could use this, or we could use this. All these mean the exact same thing. And furthermore, if you see something like 2a, that means 2 times a. So if you're not aware of that, you need to be aware of it now. So now let's look at exponents and order of operations. Now, if you look at this 4 to the 5th power, the 4 is the base and 5 is the exponent. Now all exponents mean repeated multiplication of the same number. So this 4 to the 5th means you're going to multiply 4 times itself 5 times. In other words, you're going to be multiplying 5 fours. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Now there's some exponents have special names. If you see an exponent of 2, most times when you hear it read, it's going to be read as 4 squared. If it's raised to the power of 3, that's going to be 4 cubed. It should be cubed. So let's just do some quick examples. Let's find 1 to the 3rd. No, it just says expand it, so we're just going to expand it. So 1 to the 3rd is the same as 1 times 1 times 1, because the exponent of 3 means you multiply it 3 times. 5 to the 6 means you multiply the 5, not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 times. And that's what you do. Now this is a backwards question. Notice that the base is 2, because that's the only thing being multiplied. And how many 2's are being multiplied? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's your exponent. Base is 7. How many 7's are being multiplied? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the exponent. Now we're actually going to find some values, some answers. So 3 squared. That's the same as 3 times 3, which is 9. But I'm going to show you with the graphing calculator and some other calculators, or scientific calculator. So just type in 3. You can use this over here, this x squared, as your exponent. Or you can type in 3 and then this caret key. Now if your scientific has the caret key, that's an exponent key. So you also get 9. Now if you have a scientific, this key right here, x to the y or y to the x, something like that, should be on your calculator. If the caret key isn't, then you should see something like this. So what you want to do is hit the 3, the base, and then the caret key, and then the 2 equals. So that's how you do it on most scientific calculators. So let's just go ahead and find 6 to the 3rd. So I'm just going to type it in like this. Whenever in doubt, use the caret key. And 4 to the 7th. And this should be a pretty big number. And so that's how you find exponents, especially with your calculator. Now I'm going to do these problems with the calculator. So just be aware. Now hopefully I've maybe linked a video that shows you how to do some of these by hand. So you may want to look at that video. But I'm going to do these examples with the calculator. So with the graphing calculator, on these, you just type it in the way that you see it. See how it's written down? That's how I typed it in, and it gives me an answer of -11. On the scientific, you have to follow the order of operations, which means you do parentheses first, which is nothing to do inside parentheses, exponents, there are none, multiply and divide from left to right, and then add and subtract. So we're going to do the 9 times 4 first. This asterisk key, that's your multiplication. And then I'm going to add the 5, and then I'm going to subtract the 52. And that's how you get the -11. Now I'm going to do this next one on the graphing calculator. This is my negative key. Notice that one down there was the negative key. Then I can either use the caret or the square key. and we get negative 5 for that one. On the scientific calculator, you'll want to do the negative 5 squared first. On this one, you're better off using parentheses just to be safe. So notice I had hit the parentheses, the 5, and then the negative, and then close parentheses. Then that one's a square key, and it gives us the answer positive 25. So that's going to be positive 25, which means you now take 20 minus 25. Now, I don't know how many more I'm going to do with the scientific calculator. Like I said, there'll be hopefully a video posted. Now let's do this next one. Now this is the absolute value bars. The absolute value of 8 minus 24. If you want to find the absolute value symbols, if you look above the 0, you see the word catalog, which is in yellow. The first thing that pops up is ABS. It's not the only place to find the absolute value, but that's the fastest place. So then we'll type in 8 minus 24 inside parentheses. So this is saying the absolute value of 8 minus 24 times, parentheses, negative 2, close, divided by, parentheses. Make sure you use those parentheses. And we do get 16. Now that's the next one. There's two main ways of doing it. You can do it all at once. You just have to be really careful. I'm going to do it individually, top and bottom individually. And then I'm going to show you how you can do it all at once. I'm just going to type it in the exact same way that the numerator is written. And then we'll type in the bottom. Now, I don't have a bracket. I can't use a bracket. If I did have a bracket, which I probably do somewhere, don't use the bracket, use parentheses. It's okay to have more than one set of parentheses within the problem, just to make sure that how it's written is how you type it. And you see that? I made a mistake. That's not a bad thing, because I wanted you to see this, what I'm about to do. I don't have to type the whole thing over. I can hit second enter and move it over to where the 11 should actually be a 10. I still missed it. And you get the negative 3. And then you just type in 9 divided by negative 3. And you do get negative 3. Now if I did want to type it in all at once, I would put an extra parentheses around the numerator and an extra parentheses around the denominator. So if you want to do it all at once, let's go and do that right quickly. My arrow is off a little bit. And like I said, I'm just tapping it in the way it is. The only thing that I've changed is the extra set of parentheses around the numerator and around the denominator. So just be really careful how you type this in. At the end, I'm going to have 3 sets of parentheses. See that? And then one last topic. It involves variables, like terms, expressions. Anytime you see a letter in a math class, that just means it's a variable. A variable is nothing but a letter that represents a number. The common ones are x and n, but anything can be used. If anytime you see algebraic expressions, that just means that you have a bunch of terms being added and subtracted. Like this, for example, 2x plus 3y minus 9. These are all individual terms. They're not, you cannot combine them together. So this is all that it is. You got 3 different terms here. Once again, anytime you see a number with a letter, that means multiplication, 3 times x. If you see 2 letters, 2 variables side by side, that also means multiplication, a times b. The reason why we have it with this section is because when you see the word evaluate, it means you're going to have an expression with a letter in it, and you'll be given a number to substitute. So we're going to evaluate 8x minus 7. Now when you substitute, watch what I do. I use parentheses. See that instead of the x, I have parentheses. Inside the parentheses, I'm going to have what x equals, which is 2. Then I'm going to take out my calculator, type in 8 parentheses 2 minus 7. Now you should be able to do it in your head, and if you can't, I just showed you how to do it with the calculator. Now the same thing, 2x minus y to the fourth. Notice how I rewrote it with x and y with empty parentheses, because x, I'm going to let it be 8 because that's how what it's given to be. Y is given to be -3. Very important to use parentheses, especially when you have negative numbers to substitute. So now I'm going to type it in just the way it's written. See that? And it gives me the answer of -65. And that's it.